This video is a basic overview video of three software bundles we are going to be using in this course heavily. And so I wanted you to be familiar with some of the button placements and certain things you can do in each one. Since we have primarily been a Google district, we're very used to sheets and slides and docs. And today we're going to actually look at kind of Apple's version of those programs. And you will see right here, we're going to look at Keynote, Numbers, and Pages. And really, I just want you to see some of the basic similarities between them. The really great thing with these is once you know how to use one, you basically know how to use all of them. So I'm just going to go ahead and open Keynote. And all I want to do is I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to create a new one. So anytime in any of these programs, from this screen here that opens up, you'll see that your plus button up here, that's how you create something new. So if I leave this and I go to Numbers, you'll see very similarly, there's my plus button, okay? And again, Pages, the plus button is in the same place. So they have a very similar look, and I'm going to be switching between the apps to show you these things. So if I hit plus, I'm going to just go ahead and create just a basic white presentation here. And so here's my slideshow. But what I want to show, and you'll notice mine is doing this right now, that basically means there's an update. So I'll click on that real quick and it's going to tell me, oh, hey, I have this new thing called a drop cap. Okay. All right. From this screen, you'll see all my slides will be here. My main slide is here I'm working on. And then here's my tool layout. Okay. Now I'm going to switch over and I'm going to actually go back to Numbers and I'm going to start a new spreadsheet. Here's what's great. You'll notice that all these icons are basically the same. Now in Sheets, I do have some more options down here because I have a cell going on here. I have options I can format with a cell. And again, let's go ahead and go to Pages, and I'm going to create a new Pages document. Here, we'll just click on this letter here. You will see that once I've opened this letter, that again, we're going to have a very similar layout. Here's my pages of my letter. Here's those same icons over here. So everything is very similar inside of these items. All right, so let's take a look at what these do. The paintbrush is a critical one. The paintbrush is how you edit whatever you're clicked on. So right now I'm clicked on basically the entire slide, so you can see that I can change the background of the slide. I can change the layout of the slide. If I now click though on my presentation title box, so I'm clicked on this, if I click the paint format, you'll see that it has changed. It has changed to where I can edit my text. I can change the style of my text. This is where I could come put some drop shadows in, or I can arrange it. I can bring stuff forward and backward, and it changes based on what you're clicked on. Okay, if I'm clicked on an image, it will give me more options too. So I'm going to actually click down here. I'm going to add a new blank slide to here, which allows me to now click the plus button. Sometimes people get confused. This plus button adds things to the slide. This plus button adds a new slide. Very similarly, if I'm in Pages, if I wanted to add something to the page here, then I would add something on this page. And if I come down, obviously if I return down, my next page automatically creates here. Okay, but if I click, so we're going to go back to Keynote, I'm going to click the plus button. Here is the basic menu that you have. You can add photos, videos, you can turn your camera on right from here to record a picture. You can record audio directly in. Okay, image gallery means it's something that's going to flip pictures, which could be kind of fun. But this menu, and here's what's great about the way Apple has done this. Remember what this menu looks like. I'm going to flip to Pages, and I'm going to click the same plus button. Isn't that handy? It's the exact same menu. So once you know how to use one, you're going to know how to use them all. Okay. So let's go ahead and put a photo in here just to show what this can do. I'm going to go ahead and put a picture here of, here's my daughter. She was doing some learning. She was on a virtual field trip on this one. And again, my paint format button up here, if I'm not selected on anything, so I'm just selected on the slide, you'll see that it gives me that slide layout. But if I select the picture, and you can tell I'm selected because I have the little blue dots around it, if I hit the paint format now, I have some new options. I can do things like set as a placeholder. I can replace the image. I can do instant alpha, which is pretty cool. Instant alpha, we'll get into that when we actually talk about Keynote, but I just wanted to show you that your options change depending on what you're clicked on. So then this, if I come back to pages, we'll do something very similar, and we'll insert a photo. We'll do this, and then we'll throw in this basketball hoop that I installed here. You'll see if I'm selected on just the page over here, and I click this, you'll see that I have document settings. So do I want portrait, landscape? And again, I'm on my paintbrush. But if I click on the photo, now I have those exact same options that I had in Keynote. So again, it's very easy to navigate between the two once you learn those tricks. The other thing that you have on the plus button are you have different options along the top. So this far right one is where you can add photos. I can also bring in shapes, which can be really cool. They have some really neat things. So let's say we're making something on animals. You can literally click on this guy and bring this horse right in here, and it's a horse. And again, think about if I wanted to edit this, what do I have to click on? I have to be selected on it, and then I click the paintbrush, and now I could change the color of it. I could give it a drop shadow. So knowing how to navigate those buttons can be really helpful. If I go back to my plus button, I can come here. You can put in graphs, and you can imagine this is really helpful. Let's switch back over to numbers. If I hit my plus button, you can see here, these could be very helpful in here, and it's very simple to add a graph into your spreadsheet because it's all right here. But again, it's the exact same menu as you're used to seeing in Keynote. Obviously this one's a little different because we have some cell table actions, and that's because it's a spreadsheet. If we go back to Keynote here, we can do some of the same type of things here in Keynote. We can put a little modified table in, not quite as much as we can in the in numbers, because that's actually for a spreadsheet. But these are just these buttons here. I wanted to go over the basics so you understand when I'm clicking on things in different videos, you know what we're doing. The other one is the three dots. This is where you find a lot of different setups. This is where you can find document setups. You could switch to portrait, switch to landscape. They do have some different ones. Obviously, Keynote's going to have some presentation items in it. Let's go over to pages and see what that one has. Here I can see here I have bookmarks in this one. I have smart annotations, but I also again have guides, and I have settings down here. So those are very similar items. So hopefully this is not an in-depth video on any one of these products, but just how they work and how they're similar.